Namaskar. Hello and welcome to 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙪 channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Joining me today is Sriram Seshadri. A lot is happening or not happening. Postures, trying to put a new spin on what is essentially a black and white case of bribery. Yet there are so many different plots here and subplots. We thought it's important that we should tell you all the different things, the precedents for what the governor did in Tamil Nadu, everything and more. Let's welcome our guest of the evening, Sriram Seshadri ji. Sriram ji, namaskar and welcome to 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙪.
Namaskar, Sri Iyer. How are you?
Thank you so much, sir. I'm very well, sir. And so, viewers, we have a slide deck for you. Sriramji, you can start your preamble and tell me when you would like to start the slide deck going. Viewers, you don't want to miss this one till the very end because this is inextricably linked with the Chidambaram temple. So, Senthil Balaji is Chidambaram temple is a facade to try and divert people's attention from Senthil Balaji. This is the main story. This is a side story. However, the side story is also becoming a main story now. All this is going to be discussed today. Please like this video and also subscribe to our channel if you have not already done so. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Shreyar. Just 2 minutes preamble before you start presenting the deck.
Yes.
So what happened last week when we talked about Senthil Balaji, there was a case pending in Madras High Court on the habeas corpus petition, which Senthil Balaji's wife filed. And then through that only, the Senthil Balaji was moved from Omandurar Government Hospital to a private hospital where he underwent a heart surgery, bypass surgery, and he is hale and healthy. In the meantime, his judicial custody got over on 28th of June. 2 weeks of judicial custody, and it has been extended by another 2 weeks by the magistrate. The magistrate had a video conference with Senthil Balaji, and then he's improving his health. So on that basis only, judicial custody had been extended. The police custody or ED custody lapsed 8 days of ED custody lapsed. That is a case that is still pending. The judgment is reserved by Madras High Court on the habeas corpus petition. Whether that is maintainable or not, we will have to wait and see when the Honorable High Court is ready with their judgment. My humble opinion from the Supreme Court's observations is this probably will not be maintainable, but we don't know. Court may look at different nuances, interpret differently. And under the same habeas corpus petition, Enforcement Directorate filed a prayer that the 8 days of ED custody should be, the number of days Senthil Balaji is in hospital should not be considered as a custodial days. So we need to wait and see what judgment is going to come. In the meantime, Governor had been, Chief Minister Mr. M.K. Stalin reassigned Senthil Balaji's portfolio to 2 ministers and held Senthil Balaji as a minister without portfolio, which is not new. There are occasions where in the past, several ministers had been without portfolio for various reasons. But this one is a very unique case. He has been tainted minister, and he has been pursued, and Supreme Court had given a direction to file a case. So which means there is a prima facie case against Senthil Balaji. Normally, the custom had been when someone charge sheet is filed or there is a prima facie case, the minister resigns on his or her own. Manish Sisodia resigned after several protests, and several other places ministers have resigned, including A. Raja, who was a DMK minister, telecom minister. When a case was filed against him on 2G scam, he resigned from the post. Dayanidhi Maran, when the BSNL exchange scam came on his name, Karunanidhi advised Dayanidhi Maran to resign from the ministership. So DMK itself had this sort of precedence. In the meantime, Governor R.N. Ravi had been advising the Chief Minister to drop Senthil Balaji from the cabinet, but he expressed his displeasure that the portfolio realignment he agreed, but the governor expressed his displeasure about keeping Senthil Balaji as minister without a portfolio. So Stalin went one step further, issued a GO stating that Senthil Balaji continues to be the minister without portfolio. So the first family still trying to protect the tainted minister. So yesterday night, 29th, night India time, governor office issued a press statement stating that under the constitution, powers entrusted on the governor under the constitution, he exercised that power, discretionary power, to sack Senthil Balaji from his ministership. This is the preamble on which we are going to have this discussion. So now you can start the presentation, about two places where, Stalin. This is the whether the governor has power to dismiss an individual minister. So there was a case of S. Tara Singh versus Director Consolidation of Holdings in Punjab High Court, where they actually, given a verdict. I don't want to go through this in entirety. People can search for it, and we will also put this entire presentation in our comment so that you could, read that, where the High Court observed or issued a judgment that a person who appoints the minister also has the authority to dismiss the person, even if it is an individual minister. Under Article 164, the governor has the minister or a chief minister holds office by the pleasure of the governor. Yes, sir. You're on mute.
I want our viewers to understand something very clear. You said that governor sent a letter dismissing Senthil Balaji as the minister without portfolio. Timeline. I'm trying to understand the chronology as well as timeline. He sends this letter, and then Stalin responds and says, I refuse to remove him from the Council of Ministers. Did I understand that correctly, sir?
That is right, Shia, because what was the content of that letter, nobody knows, because it is a government communication. On Monday, there was a PIL filed in Madras High Court. The same question was discussed in that public interest litigation in Madras High Court, when the Honorable Chief Justice of Madras High Court commented, we do not have the authority to call for that letter to be presented as an evidence, nor the response by the state government to the governor as a response. But the GO is a public document where Stalin had, the government has issued a government order appointing Senthil Balaji as a minister without portfolio, and governor's press release post that appointment says, even Madras High Court on Monday asked, by chance governor has issued any communication sacking the minister, then that becomes a point of discussion. Until such time, court cannot intervene in that. They dismiss that public interest litigation. So post that, governor issues a press release stating that they have issued an order or advice to the chief minister to drop Senthil Balaji from the post, and post which they saw the government order issued by the state government that Senthil Balaji will continue as a minister without a portfolio. Hence, governor is exercising his discretionary power conferred to him under Article 163(1), and under the authority of 164, Article 164, where the minister or the chief minister holds office by his pleasure, during his pleasure as the governor. This by his pleasure or during his pleasure is defined under Article 310 of the Indian Constitution. See, I'm giving you little references to the constitutional provisions, so that it is not a mere rhetoric understanding. It is backed by the statutory and constitutional provision. That's why I'm giving certain references to you here. So the Punjab High Court has given this verdict, and in 1979, a case against M. Karunanidhi, the erstwhile chief minister of Tamil Nadu, whether he is a public servant or not, because between 71 to 75, as a public servant, as a chief minister, he had received certain compensation, certain money for a favor that he had, exercised. So In that case, Supreme Court calls the previous one that we showed, the Punjab High Court case, and then said, we concur with the Punjab High Court's decision that a governor has the authority to sack the minister or dismiss even an individual minister. So, if you read this particular press note that has been projected here, Supreme Court clearly says appointing authority is also dismissing authority. And in the last paragraph, if you read, this applies to dismissal of an individual minister also. This judgment, so far, this judgment is given by a 5-member constitutional bench. This judgment, so far, has never been overruled or turned overturned by a larger constitutional bench, because under the protocol of any constitutional or a judgment, a constitutional bench or 5-member constitutional bench decision or verdict has to be overturned by a larger bench of 7-member or 9-member constitutional bench. So this ruling of 1979 still holds good. This is law. And unless otherwise the constitution has been amended to nullify this judgment, then this judgment becomes law. So under this judgment, governor has the power to dismiss. So clearly we understand the governor issuing a letter yesterday stating that he is dismissing or sacking the minister without portfolio, Mr. Senthil Balaji, is valid. So the opposition camp used to say that in 2014 there was another case in Nehru versus Government of India where the complainant or the petitioner praised that Supreme Court should intervene and sack tainted ministers or criminal ministers who are having a criminal background or criminal cases against them. Supreme Court, for the limited portion of that prayer, says the court does not have the power to dismiss or appoint a minister. So what the DMK and others are who are opposing this particular letter of the governor, defends, saying that Supreme Court itself has said this, so 1979 case is no longer valid. Absolutely wrong. 1979 verdict on M. Karunanidhi versus Union of India is absolutely valid because they dismiss the appeal on the Madras High Court's verdict that, Karunanidhi, then Chief Minister or the Minister, was a public servant and the governor has a right and authority to dismiss the minister. So this is a background behind this case. Coming to politics of it, Mr. Stalin was...
If I could just jump in for 1 second, sir. If I could just jump in for... If you want to take a water break, please feel free. Viewers, first, please like this video. We need to have many more people watching this. We are trying to give you the exact legal standing. It's called as settled law. What settled law means, if something has been ruled by a constitutional bench or a bench of 5 people, this is settled law. That means that there is no way you can change it. What we are trying to enforce and reinforce here to our viewers is that the governor, who's the appointing authority, can also be the dismissing authority. Now, you have to decide whether the governor's order is on hold or it's paused, or if it is seeking or if he is seeking counsel from the Attorney General. When he tells the Chief Minister that you need to drop this person from the Council of Ministers, and the minister, the said Chief Minister says, no, I will not, then the governor has to go back and see what is the next thing to do. So whether you think that is hold or pause or whatever, you remember that the governor's office has not said anything on this at this point of time. So we are still waiting to see. So what I'm trying to tell you all is there is no winner or loser here. This is essentially a eyeball to eyeball staring match. One person will back down. We think we know who that is. It's up to you to decide whether you think who it is. So anyway, we'll leave it at that. Let's go back.
I just want to add that. I just want to add, within 5 hours of this event, there was a news came about in the news channels that governor has withheld this particular decision, and in the morning, governor's office had issued another press statement stating that they have kept this in abeyance for until further communication. The Home Ministry had given an instruction to governor to consult the Attorney General. So this is where the politics keeps coming, Shriya. Here I want to get into the politics of, see, so far we saw what is the constitutional provisions. Governor as a constitutional authority. We saw what is constitutional provisions, whether he whether he exercised a constitutional overreach or not. My humble opinion, he did not exercise a constitutional overreach. Supreme Court will decide on this eventually if this case goes to Supreme Court. But at this, with the settled, verdicts and settled law, governor within the Constitution has exercised his discretion and power and authority. Comes to the politics of it.
Yes.
So the first political thing is, before even we saw why he turned out and then flip-flop of the decision, Mr. Stalin, when he was a opposition leader, on 2 occasions demanded the governor should step in and then sack a minister or the governor or the chief minister and deputy chief minister. On 1st September 2018, this is in Tamil, those who know Tamil read it, but I'm going to explain that in English. On 1st September 2018, then the leader of the opposition, Mr. Stalin, tweeted that there are, the chief minister, then chief minister Edappadi Palaniswamy, knows very well that one of the ministers, the health minister Vijayabhaskar, was involved in a gutka case. This is a pan and gutka or contraband material being sold in Tamil Nadu, which is banned in Tamil Nadu. He was involved in that case, and since the then chief minister was not willing to dismiss or sack this particular minister, the then opposition leader requests the governor to take immediate action and dismiss the minister as soon as possible or immediately. So he urged the governor to dismiss the minister at that point in time. On 6th October 2018, within about a week or so, same leader of the opposition on another count requested, can we move to the next slide also if possible, and then requested that the governor who has the authority, merely talking about corruption and other issues, but not acting on it. So people who are responsible for the corruption and people who are against the constitution should be sacked. And he urged once again the governor to exercise the discretion that the governor has under the constitution to dismiss the then chief minister and deputy chief minister and some of the ministers in that cabinet. Then that time Mr. Stalin did not ask for the government to be sacked by using Article 356. He was urging the governor to use the discretionary power to sack a minister or certain people from the cabinet. So, but now when the governor actually advised the chief minister to dismiss Senthil Balaji, who is under investigation, who is under judicial custody. Eventually, when he comes out of the hospital, he is going to be jailed. He is not willing to drop him. Maybe he has his own personal agenda, or the party has a personal agenda to protect the minister. That is, we don't know. We can only speculate. But my sources say that chief minister was advised by senior leaders of the party and senior ministers of the cabinet not to continue this, with Senthil Balaji, at least to drop him, dismiss him from the ministry, because they know that the ground reality, general public are literally happy that Senthil Balaji is under the scanner and then he is under judicial custody, under investigation, because nobody or most of the public know that Senthil Balaji has given his own sworn affidavit in Madras High Court that he was involved in the cash for job scam. And also during the TASMAC sales, he had been collecting extra money beyond the MRP, maximum retail price, and then in cash. And then, of course, who gets these money? It's all well known. They spend it on elections and all those stuff. So general public sympathy is not with Senthil Balaji, and more the party and the party leadership trying to protect him, they are going to lose favor with the public. And that is why Stalin was advised, and then Stalin seemed to have conceded that he would drop Senthil Balaji and then ask him to do voluntarily submit his resignation once he is back from hospital, or once he is in a position to provide his resignation. But now with governor asking sacking the minister, my conspiracy theory, if I have to put it in a way, that my conspiracy theory is probably the central leadership didn't want Senthil Balaji to be dismissed or dropped by Stalin. They want Senthil Balaji to continue as a minister and then face the charges and face the case. That way, Senthil Balaji, the effect will be much more prevalent in with the public, that DMK is carrying a convicted or tainted minister in their cabinet and then who is under custody. It is definitely a electoral gimmick and public perception battle. Politics is politics, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot see whether there is a dharma in it or not. Politics is politics. So my conspiracy theory is that is why governor issued this letter and then backtracked it, saying that he is going to consult an AG, Attorney General's point of view. Now Stalin is in a catch-22 situation. He cannot, because Stalin had, as we talked about a half hour back, the chief minister has issued a letter to the governor stating that Senthil Balaji continues as a minister without a portfolio, and then he is not backing down. So whatever the central government wanted, probably they extracted, is my humble opinion. So in this case, Stalin would be in a catch-22 situation. He will not be able to sack Senthil Balaji. At the same time, Senthil Balaji will not be forced to give a resignation, voluntary resignation, and then graciously accepting it. That also will not happen. Maybe governor will wait for some more time, and then when Senthil Balaji gets out of the hospital and then goes under judicial or enforcement director custody, he would exercise this again, privilege and authority, and then say that Senthil Balaji is sacked as a minister. I think this is how it will unfold, in my humble opinion. I think this is the lobby problem. Or there could be one more conspiracy theory I can add, that DMK is doing a lobby or negotiation with central leadership on this issue. We don't know. But these are all conspiracy theories only. There is no proof behind it, and there is no hard and fast documentary evidence. I'm just placing in front of you some of the theories that could happen, why this withdrawal happens. I leave it to your judgment. Yes, Shriya.
Sriramji never gives any conspiracy theories. His conspiracy theories are all based on conspiratorial facts. What happened, he's not telling us, but I'm going to take the liberty of telling. A senior DMK functionary has been flying back and forth to Delhi. There is something going on. This is not exactly what you're seeing out in this media space, guys. Just wait and see how this thing plays out. So at the same time, so this is one thing that this story is going on, right? So DMK wants to distract people's attention away from that. So what does they do? Usually they'll bash Brahmins. That is number one. Number two, they'll bash Hindi. Or number three, now they have taken up the Chidambaram temple. Default bashing guy. Go and do something there. So you saw what happened in Chidambaram temple. This is one of those days where no matter what you touch, it turns out to be bad. So Sriram, there was a movie in Tamil. I'm going to share a joke there. So the hero is going through a bad time. So what happens is he's standing in the railway station and he's along with his friend. So those days, I don't know if it's still true. It may be still true. Is you have this weighing machine where you can stand up and you insert money and you weigh your weight. And on the back of the weighing machine, the ticket, you'll get some kind of a forecast.
Yeah.
Okay. So this guy will go and weigh himself, and he looks at the ticket and it says, today is a bad day for you. Okay, so the friend says, no, something is wrong. So he'll bang the thing left, bang the thing on the right, and then say, go back and now try again. So he goes and again weighs himself, and he gets his weight, and he says, today is a bad day for you. He says, a friend says, no, this can't be. Wait, let me see if this is working, or maybe this machine is busted. So he sets aside his the hero, and he stands up and he weighs himself, and then the ticket comes out, and back of the ticket it is written, today is a bad day for your friend.
Yeah.
So no matter what Mr. Stalin and the DMK government, the DMK party tries, things are not working out. And I'm just going to share with you a letter from the lineage, the current king of the Vijayanagara Empire. And I'm going to, can we have that, please? Yes. So he has sent a letter, because this is very important. Many of you need to understand the history behind the Chidambaram temple. The Chidambaram temple was destroyed by the Malik Kafur campaign that started from the north, and he lay about waste just about every temple that was popular at that time. This guy was a brutal killer, and the south could not withstand his onslaught. You have seen in Srirangam some things happen. You've seen in Chidambaram, many places this guy went about destroying stuff. So there is a story here which is explained in this letter. You guys can take a look at it. What the king is saying is that Amir Khusro has detailed what was done in the Chidambaram temple. It was destroyed. The temple itself was destroyed. And when we came back within 100 years, we rebuilt this. Krishnadevaraya rebuilt the Chidambaram temple. See, a lot of people don't know all these things. Madam Romila Thapar didn't think it important to understand what kind of agony and torture and terror the Hindus had to go through during those periods. And now, when people start, showing them the mirror, suddenly people are getting very uncomfortable and getting twisted. You have to face the reality. You can't just walk away from it. Anyway, so the point here is he has also weighed in and said that what the DMK government is doing. Can we have the next slide, please? What the DMK government is doing is wrong, and that, next page, please. We implore the government of Tamil Nadu to give up the politics of hatred against the Dikshitars and instead take firm steps towards maintenance and improvement of the ancient temples of the state, which display the real rich culture and tradition of the Tamil land. Viewers, it doesn't get more stark than this. It is about time the DMK calls off its attack dogs. I'm telling you, this is exactly how I see it. These things, this way of trying to go back and somehow create some trouble for the Dikshitars. Sriram, this is not today. In the 1980s, they did the same thing, and that was ADMK government.
Yes.
In 1980s, they tried to say that you guys will audit. See, the biggest problem for all these guys, viewers, the biggest problem for all these guys is this temple doesn't take no hundi in the temple. So no donations, and at the same time, and the temple itself doesn't own any land. Some people, some big wealthy people have given, deeded the land, saying that you can use this land to use the produce. Like that, they also have. There are no stores, by the way. There are no shops on the way to the temple, so that the temple doesn't own any shop, no rent collection there either. So the amount of funding that they get is very limited. At the same time, the temple is maintained extremely well. There is food. The food is not charged. You don't charge anything for the food. So this is one of the complaints that Mr. Sekhar Babu is now quoting, saying that, well, the devotees are complaining that they are not able to pay for the prasadam they are getting at the temple. What bunkum is this? They claim that 19,000 complaints have come about Chidambaram temple. And then they said that, we have summarized all this into 21 points. All those 21 points, line by line, the Dikshitar community has responded. These people have no case, I'm telling you. These people have no case. I don't know which lobby is putting pressure on them, whether the Islamic lobby of Tamil Nadu or whether it is the Christian lobby of Tamil Nadu. I'm going to be direct, because This is not somebody. See, Sekhar Babu, shame on you for wearing vibhuti on your forehead, man. Shame on you. Lord Shiva is not going to forgive you. Anyway, so this is what it is happening now. They are somehow trying to keep the people's attention away from what is happening in Senthil Balaji's case, which has serious ramifications. Now, this is a dare by M.K. Stalin to say that I will not sack him, is going to actually, I think, land him in more trouble. At the same time, the center is now saying, okay, let us sit back and see what the court says. And it is fine, right? So you are trying to go and open the court everywhere, here, there, everywhere. You keep filing petitions. In fact, looks like his wife has gone and filed a petition in Supreme Court also, right, Sriram?
Yeah, she is.
So,
that's right.
How far are you going to push this thing? And anyway, every time they try this thing, they are getting into a bigger mess. Now, you see what has happened is people in all of India are getting seized of the situation of how the Hindu Dharma, the Sanatana Dharma, is being consistently under attack by the Dravidas, the Dravida Punjugad, the DMK party rank and file. And that the police also have taken part in this. Police should have exercised better judgment. This is going to be trouble. I hope that Sri T.R. Ramesh succeeds in getting this case heard in the Supreme Court quickly and that they are punished. You cannot let these things go away. The EO needs to be dismissed. She has no locus standi in this temple. This temple is not under the control of HR&CE.
That's a problem here.
Yeah, it's a blatantly illegal act. So anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little worked up on this because I feel like they're deliberately doing this thing because they think we are in power. Nobody can shake us. And I have in a previous episode, I had exhorted the two Brahmin ministers in the central government to pick up the phone and give their peace of mind to Mr. M.K. Stalin. I don't know if it happened or not. I'm sure, hoping that something like that happened. But if it doesn't happen, viewers, you can tell them, you can tell the DMK government where they are going wrong. There's nothing wrong in telling your government, look, you are doing something wrong here. There is a saying in Tamil, Sivan Sottu Kulanasam. Yeah, what it means is, you touch Shiva's property, your family will be destroyed. So I'm just telling you what the history has been quoted. I'm not saying that I am wishing this for anyone. The point here is that think about it. Take one step back. Let us say there is a Muslim temple with this kind of a heritage. Would you touch it? Aren't they also citizens of India? Then, if the answer is no there, why is it yes here? See, this is the question that Hindus have to ask. Let us not say that BJP will, come to our rescue. What can we do to tell? What can we do to tell the government this is none of your business? Anyway, sir, this is all I have for today. Please, if you want to conclude, and then we can take some questions.
Yeah, I just want to take 2 minutes to describe something on this context here for our viewers. See, DMK government, whenever they came to power, they have been trying this mischiefs quite some time. So in 1971, DMK government amended a HR&CE Act to say that appointment of the pontiffs, the priests, cannot be hereditary and cannot be to the denomination. Anybody who is trained can be appointed. So this came up in Supreme Court, a constitutional bench in 1972 in the case called Seshammal versus Tamil Nadu government, ruled that yes, the priest cannot be appointed just mere on the condition of qualification of hereditary. The priest also should be well trained in the agamas, but they also ruled that the agama temples has to be all the pujas can be carried out. The priest has to be from that particular denomination of that agama. Say, for example, in Vaishnavite, if you take, there is a Pancharatram and Vaikanism. If you take in Saivite temples, Shivan temples or Saivite temples, there are about 63 or 65 agamas within which the priests fall into. So that is where Supreme Court ruled. That rule has not been overturned even now. That's a constitutional law. In 2006, again, when Mr. Karunanidhi became the chief minister, he tried this and then issued a ordinance affecting appointment can be done by from any denomination, and anybody who is trained can be appointed. So once again, the Shivacharyas went to the Supreme Court, and then in 2006, the ordinance was not converted into a state statute. So then the case was dismissed. In the Chidambaram temple, the Sabanayagar versus the Union of State of Tamil Nadu case, Supreme Court ruled very clearly in 2014. Subramaniam Swamy was one of the counsel arguing for the Pudu Dikshitars that this Chidambaram temple, Natarajan temple, belongs to the Pudu Dikshitars. It is very clearly ruled by the Constitution bench of Supreme Court that it belongs to the Pudu Dikshitar. So why they are taking this up again and again, especially the Chidambaram temple, this government is eyeing. I once again have a theory behind it. See, this denomination, what we talk about, if you took a look at Srirangam, another very prominent temple, a smaller portion of the denomination actually manages. Satadar is a denomination who are created by Saint Ramanuja, who created all the rituals that has to be followed. They maintain the temple there, and then it is once again a Pancharatram Vaishnavite temple. So if this denomination goes to court and then says, this temple we have been maintaining for last 1,000 years, there is an hereditary that we have in our favor, and we have been maintaining that, and hence this temple belongs to us. Naturally, Supreme Court, as per the Sabanayagar temple case, may hand over the temple to that particular denomination. So the state government is worried some point in time each one of this temple may go out of their hand, and as long as, and remember, the HR&CE Act does not give any authority or right to the government to interfere in the functioning of the temple. That is, the religious rituals cannot be interfered. But repeatedly, even in Srirangam temple, they interfere. They cut short all the procedures and rituals because they can sell tickets and then earn more money out of it. So this is the issue that the government has in hand. I'm sure together we need to fight for it. And again, temples are the guardian or custodian of our Hindu dharma, Sanatan dharma. Naturally, like Shri Iyer said, either the Muslim lobby or the Christian lobby would want these temples to be shattered. That's why they say that anybody can be a priest. Even common Hindus will not go to the temple, say to Srirangam, if it is not maintained properly, or if it is not, the rituals are not performed properly. So they will stop going to the temple. So that is what the missionary, the conversion mafia and the missionaries, everybody want. And then they use this to, instigate the conversion, ideas in their mind. So end of the day, there is a theory why the government is after the Chidambaram temple, because that cannot be set as a precedence. I think that's my reasoning why they are going after, and it has to be stopped. If it has to be stopped, we all have to come together. I think that's my concluding statement, Shri Iyer, on this.
Thank you so much, Sriramji. And viewers, we are going to do something slightly different from what normal, analytical programs are going to do. Just stay tuned. Sriramji and I are going to come up with some other things that we are not your normal channel. Okay, we are trying to take your thinking to a slightly different level, to develop the process of critical thinking. If somebody says something, why should you accept it? What is the counter to that? Because unless you start doing these things, these will help you in life also. And unfortunately, most of us, because we are weighed down by day-to-day problems, we don't have time to look at a counter opinion or a more in-depth or a more nuanced opinion about why a certain thing is in a certain way. And this is important. This is critical. Because if you don't do that, you'll make very big mistakes in life. I'm hoping that you understand this is the aim of P Guru's channel, that we are commenting on some of these things because this is gross violation of a decency of your right to be what you are. I mean, and see, the thing is, BJP can only do so much. They also want to try and get some political gain out of all these things. Because if they are going to get the Hindus riled up, good for them. Because Hindus in 2024 will go on back and vote for them. Our goal is not that. Our goal, which is, remember, that is not our goal. Our goal is that the Hindus are proud of their dharma, that they continue to go to the temples to seek that spiritual energy that exists in all our temples. And this is what is being denied. And it's a mess, I'm telling you. The way money is continuing to come into some of these organizations. I did a program, Sriramji, about a monologue 2 days ago about many alphabet soup organizations in the United States trying to give aid, humanitarian aid to their counterparts in India. And these people are indulging in radical Islam. I keep telling this thing. I keep telling through my podcast that madrasas have no place. The moment they broke the trust, because what is happening, Sriram, is this happened in Hyderabad, and a senior DGP told me this. So it's not like I heard from somewhere. On Fridays, I'm talking about 10 years ago. On Fridays, when they have their prayers, after the prayer, that is when the incitation starts. You are Islam khatre mein, Islam is in danger, and the mullahs start saying things. They would object to even Muslim officers coming to visit and listen to what these people are saying. Intelligence's job is to gather intelligence, and they would object. The moment you do that, the moment you say you are a Muslim but you can't come in, these guys can come in, what does that mean? That means you have something in mind that you don't want the rest of the country to know. So when you are trying to do these kinds of stuff, then the government has to react. And unfortunately, even after 9 years, the BJP has been handling this with kid gloves. I'm sorry to say this. See, there is no special status for anybody. Everybody is special. Put it that way. There is no, some community is more special than the others. No, everybody is the same. This thing has to get driven down, because this stuff is unfortunately now come to the United States and Western Europe. France is burning right now. You see what is going on. There is no such a thing as one religion is better than the other, that one community is better than the other. We are all same. We find spiritual strength in doing a certain way or worshipping. That's fine. Don't disrespect the others. That's all I'm trying to say. Thank you so much, sir. Let's take some questions now.
Sure.
Magnet Ranga wants to know, Namaskara, while the governor is morally and ethically right, wouldn't it have been better if he had done necessary consultations before his letter of dismissal? Hey, Magnet Ranga, you heard the whole Ramayana and now you're asking who's Rama and Sita? This is the whole intent and push of this whole talk. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So a simple question, Magnet Ranga, is that, as I explained, I think governor definitely would not have acted on his own. This temporary abeyance or putting it on hold is only purely political reasoning, in my opinion, as I expressed my conspiracy theory. So just paused it. It is going to come back haunt again, in my opinion.
Mr. Bharani wants to know, why is the BJP so bad in handling DMK when they are at the weakest they have ever been in their history? The corruption is so outlandish and outrageous. They should pin the DMK government on this.
Bharani, it's an excellent question. I have a conspiracy theory there also. Once again, these are all political side of thinking. So there is, we all say that there is no ethics in love and war. So same way in politics also, there is no ethics in politics. So, all this, the corruption is something across India, more so in Tamil Nadu, is become more acceptable. That, fine, you looted so much, give me, instead of 2,000 per vote, give me 5,000 per vote. So people also started indulging in corruption through this manner. So corruption, unless DMK is convicted, so that is one advantage DMK always holds. They have been named starting from Sarkaria Commission, they have been named for every corrupt practices, but never been convicted. None of their leaders, maybe small petty conviction, yes, but none of their leaders on a major scam or corruption case been convicted. So I think unlike ADMK, where Jayalalitha herself has been in A1 and Sasikala being convicted and being imprisoned. So I think this has to happen. I think, in my opinion, it will happen at least in 1 or 2 cases that ED is pursuing very shortly. So we'll hope for the best, Bharani.
Next question, please. Pawan Kishore wants to know, Namaskaram, Sriram Seshadri Garu and Sri Iyer Garu. Will UCC remove Temple Endowment Act 2?
Absolutely not. UCC is more to the case of civil rights of the citizens.
Common civil code, yeah.
Common civil code, and nothing to do with the temples, etc. Some of the rights like religious rights, minority rights and all may be removed, or it may still exist. So we need to see the full draft of UCC, though there is a draft being circulated for public opinion. But temples will still continue. I'll tell you, BJP themselves are not a great proponent of taking the temples out of the government control. In Uttarakhand, when they came to power, they actually enacted, and then after going to court, they withdrew that act. In Tamil Nadu, Annamalai talks in favor of government should move out of the temple. I don't know if BJP comes to power in Tamil Nadu, will they do the same? I don't know whether they will be in a position to remove it from the government clutches. But for that, we individuals have to actually exercise our right, and we need to fight for it.
Next question, please. Aditya Tiwari wants to know, did the governor overplay his hand? He had garnered sympathy because of DMK, but that has dissipated after the latest fiasco. Could this decision by Raj Bhawan be a sabotage?
Absolutely not, Aditya. Governor did not overplay his hand. He is not given to be, overplaying his hand. Every move of his is a very, very calculated move. Once again, I'm saying this because the political thinking and political, mileage this would have. As I told you, my conspiracy theory, probably the central government did not want DMK to dismiss or drop Senthil Balaji from the cabinet, so that when he gets arrested and then probably fast track this case, and then when he gets convicted. So it is like this: if he resigns or Stalin drops him from the cabinet, now public perception would be Stalin has given up, or Stalin has given into the pressure, and then he is afraid of actions from the governor. That is why he is taking this action. So as long as a party puts up a brave face in the public will also be voting in favor. But the moment they lose that, and then they think that party is afraid of actions for their afraid of reactions for their actions or a corruption, naturally the support that they have will go down, and then it will switch to a party which has the courage. I think that is all a psychops that is happening, in my opinion, Aditya.
Next question, please. Thank you so much, Vinay Shankar. Arindam Ghatak wants to know, what is the mood of the people in Tamil Nadu on this saga?
I believe you're asking on Senthil Balaji saga, and I think people of Tamil Nadu have no sympathy for Senthil Balaji. That's absolutely clear. And most of the DMK party men also realize this, and that's why they are urging CM to drop him and then not be so protective of Senthil Balaji. So soon we will see that the first family moving slightly away from him, so that because they know, politicians know far more better about the public mood than anybody else.
Next question, please. Gomati Balamurugan. Sriramji, what is your take on the stand taken by Advocate Vijayan? He says categorically that government overstepped his limits, as the governor is always supposed to act only on the advice of the ministry.
Gomati, I think there is a confusion between what is an action and then what is a discrete power. There's a huge difference. Governor cannot say and announce that this government will do so and so things. He doesn't have the authority as per the Constitution of India. Governor has to act on the advice of the ministry, cabinet. So if any public outreach measures or schemes are announced, governor cannot announce it on his own without being recommended by the ministry or the cabinet. Unless otherwise it is in the president's rule, the governor cannot even take decisions. Even the decisions he cannot communicate to the bureaucrats directly. He can ask for report, he can ask for information from the bureaucrats, but governor cannot communicate saying that do this XYZ 1, 2, 3 actions to the bureaucrats. It has to be through the ministry only. So there is a difference between acting as well as there's a difference between the power. I think Advocate Vijayan is confusing between those two.
Jahangir Gotla wants to know, thank you Jahangir, shouldn't there be a single Hindu body that administers, who states what does what wherever in this world? All Hindus just be one under the Om.
Jahangir, it's a very, very wishful thinking. That's a problem Hindus have. Imagine, we are divided by the caste and, creed, and within that subcaste. So, say there is a Kanchi Mutt. I don't think everybody will listen to if the Kanchi Shankaracharya says. There is a Vaishnavite Mutt, there is a Madhva Mutt, there is, I'm talking about these are Brahminical mutts. But beyond that, Adinams, who are not a part of any Brahminical society, but they are different, religious pontiffs. But one Adinam itself will not listen to the other Adinam. Whereas this happens in every religion. In Islam, you have the Shias and Sunnis and, whatnot. There are 800 different subsects within Islam. Same with in Christianity. Protestant and Catholic is a large bifurcation. But within that, there are huge amount of bifurcations, but they have their own church and everything. Only difference between is they come together when it is the cause for Islam or Christianity, but Hindus don't come together when it is a cause for Hindus. I think that has to change. Until then, there cannot be one single Hindu body.
That brings us to a close of today's session. Viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Sriramji, thank you so much for doing the hard work. There is also an article written by Sriramji that's on 𝑝gurus.com. If you want to get into more detail, he has put in all the things in that article. That's also on 𝑝gurus.com. Do read that. I mean, 𝑝gurus.com gives you a lot of information. I know I'm pushing this website mainly because during the day, there are at least 5 or 6 stories that are appearing. So you can consume those things as and when that happens. And there are lots of important news items that we bring that perhaps the mainstream media doesn't get time to do it. We do that thing. We are trying to be a channel with a difference. Thanks once again, Sriram. We'll see you again very soon. I guess next Friday on English. And tomorrow, if you happen to be following 𝑝gurus Tamil, Sriram and I will be discussing many other topics in addition to these 2 topics. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thank you.
So my editor corrects me that article of Sriram Seshadri is under edit right now. It will be released very soon. So trust me, I mean, there is a lot of stuff in there also. Thank you once again, sir. Namaskar.
Thank you. Namaskar.